Okay, so let's move to the Android Studio and see how we can implement the callback methods we learnt about in the previous video. So when we go to this main-activity.kt file, you will see that this piece of code is already present on the screen. You can see that the Android Studio creates the onCreate method for us on its own without us having to do so. You can see here that this is the main activity class, and here we can see that it inherits this app_compat activity class. Now this app_compat activity class is a class present in the Android library. This library class has various functions in it, including all the lifecycle functions. We don't need to know all the methods or functions of this class. We only need to learn about the callback methods and a few others which are used most frequently. So let's move to this onCreate method now, which is a method in the app_compat activity class. As we have said earlier, this method is a mandatory method for every activity lifecycle, and hence it needs to be present in every activity file. Now we see here that this method takes this parameter called savedInstanceState. Also, after this colon, we have the data type of this parameter, which is defined as bundle. And here we see this question mark, which tells us that this parameter can be null. So, first let's understand what this parameter savedInstanceState does, and then we will understand this type bundle. Many times when we watch YouTube videos and we rotate the screen, the video continues to play, right? Well, in general, when you rotate the screen, the activity gets destroyed and a new activity gets created. But in the case of YouTube videos, the video is neither paused nor does it stop or restart. So how do we achieve this? Well, to do this, we have to override a function called onSaveInstanceState. Don't get confused by the word override here. We have already covered this in Module 2, but for revision, when we say overriding, we mean that we are using and adding or changing things in a function that has been defined elsewhere. Even if we use a function that has been defined at some other place, as it is, we use the term override. It's a keyword we use when we want to use functions belonging to the parent class. So coming back, first we need to save the instance of an activity. This instance gets saved in a bundle, and then this bundle is passed as an argument to the onSaveInstanceState method. We are not going to go into much detail in terms of coding, but it is important that you understand these concepts. Now, by using this bundle here, we are actually using that saved instance of the activity. Do you now understand why we need this savedInstanceState bundle? The one-line answer to this would be that we pass it as a parameter here to let this onCreate method use the savedInstanceState of an activity. It lets us use this state when we are rotating a screen, for example, so that the experience is seamless for the user. Now, let's see what a bundle is and why it is used. You must have seen that when you log into a screen using your email ID, you are sometimes redirected to another screen where you have to fill in your password. Now this email ID that was filled on the first screen gets transferred to this second screen. But to transfer this data from one screen to another, we need bundles. That's because Android is a little rigid in this sense that it does not allow us to directly use strings or data from one activity to the other. That is where bundles come into the picture. A bundle is used to pass data from one activity to another. This data can be in any form like strings, integer, double, etc. We will look at the implementation of bundles in the next topic. Now, this next line here is super.onCreate. This line is used for the default implementation of the onCreate method, defined in the parent class. So if you see, we are using the concepts we had studied about Kotlin in the previous module. Though we don't need to worry much about this line at the moment. Now, let's look at this next line. First, let's understand what this R means. R is an auto-generated file in Android. You remember the rest directory we spoke about in the Android tour? The directory where we placed the various resources like layouts, images, logos, etc. Okay, so whenever we add any resources in the rest directory, an ID is created for that resource. These IDs are stored in the R file. These IDs are then used to refer to these resources inside our Kotlin files. It's just like we use roll numbers to refer to students in a class. In this case, we are using the activity_main.xml file, which is inside the layout directory inside the rest directory. Hence, we have mentioned r.layout.activity_main here. The activity_main.xml file is an important file for us, since it contains the UI of the main activity. Similarly, different activities will have different layout files. Now, this setContentView method extracts the layout from the layout directory and sets it to the main activity.kt file. So this is how we connect a layout to an Android file. Now, this is done in the onCreate method, since we need to set the view of the activity at the time of creation. Let's add the other callback methods here now. First, let's add the onStart method in this class, but outside the onCreate method. To do this, you can simply type onSt and the Android Studio will give suggestions to add this method. If you do not get suggestions, simply press Ctrl+space to get them. We get a number of options that can be used here. In this first option, it shows us here that this method is part of the AppCompat activity. And we know that we have to use methods from this library class. So let's place our cursor over this option and hit enter. This creates the onStart method in this class. Similarly, let's add the onResume, onPause, onStop, onRestart, and onDestroy methods here. Make sure that all these methods are created inside the class. Also, ensure that all your curly braces are in pairs. To do this, you can select any brace and the IDE will highlight the corresponding opening or closing brace of the pair. Now let's say you get something like this. This will mean that the methods are not inside the class. To correct this, just remove the closing curly brace outside the onCreate method and add it at the end of the file. Once you have added these methods, let's add a print statement inside each of these to print the method name. Hurrah! We've added all the methods. Now let's run the app and check the output to see the order of occurrence of these methods. To do that, we'll have to first set up our Android phones. In the next video, we will do just that. Click next whenever you are ready.